What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Keep It Kula Podcast. My name is Jacqueline, and I got Cousin Owen on the show today. If you're a listener of the show, or if you've watched the show a couple times, I don't need to introduce Owen. It's just, he's Cousin Owen, knows his stuff, big Giants fan, big Habs fan, big Raptors fan as well. See right there. Love the 2019 Rap shirt. Oh boy, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a fire shirt.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So we definitely wanted to hop on today. Lots to talk about for football. Our cousin Lianne will be hopping on soon, but we're going to start without her. She's a big Vikings fan, so you'll know exactly what we're going to be talking about with her. But to begin, before we get into Bills-Ravens, because I know you're so amped to talk about it. You're so geeked. I get it. We got to talk about our team, Owen. The bond we've shared over the New York Giants. How did you feel watching Sunday's game? Watching that Giants team?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I guess to start off the thoughts, I mean, we obviously talked a lot about Russell Wilson, and I think, we talked about it. You were a little bit higher on him than I was. And it's fair. He's a veteran quarterback, Super Bowl winner. I wasn't down on him, but I don't think I was excited about him as you were. I still thought, veteran quarterback and could be decent. I was a little concerned about things I've heard the last few years about him being a teammate and kind of weird stuff he would do with teammates and whatnot. My feelings with this game was he was awful, but it was sort of a symptom that we've been dealing with for a long time, which is the offensive line. So I don't want to get too out there here, but you know how if a healthy young person gets sick, they're going to recover because they're a healthy young person. Usually they'll recover. But someone who's very old, who maybe has issues, who's in, let's say, their 70s or 80s, they get sick, they might not be fine because they're older, their immune system is more weak, bones are more fragile, all that stuff, right? So they might not recover. Yeah. So I actually don't necessarily think Russell Wilson's the old problem. Wow, look at that.
What are we saying? What are we saying about Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson. I can finish for you if you want. I was mid-Russell.
Cousin Lianne is here. Yeah, we're talking. So thank you. Coming on abruptly, baby.
Wow.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, my favorite cousin?
We're talking Giants. We're going to talk Vikes quickly. Owen, continue.
There's not much to say about the Giants, so I'll let you guys do that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ignore Lianne right now. Ignore Lianne. Continue what you were saying about the New York Giants.
So what I was saying was the thing about Wilson is it's not so much that he's the problem. It's that we've had this issue for so many seasons of a really garbage offensive line, and I'm so tired of it. We draft guys, and it's not fixed. We saw what Daniel Jones did this week with a decent offensive line. Granted, they weren't facing a great team, but he looked pretty good. It's just so exhausting that I don't know what the problem is, but for however many years, 10 years, 5 years, longer, we've had such a bad offensive line, and it felt like the whole game he was under attack. So while I think he played terribly, and I think it's like, of all measures, he played terribly in the red zone, the Giants were awful, he was awful. The offensive line was pitiful, just like we're always used to. So it was, he was terrible, but I really think we got to solve the offensive line if we want any quarterback to be able to be effective, right? So
yeah, like I agree with you in that. It took me out of the whole Sunday watching that disgusting game by the Giants, and yeah, people are blaming Russell Wilson, but Jackson Dart wouldn't have done any better. It's this disgusting O-line. Look at what Daniel Jones did, which we have to talk about too. Daniel Jones looked like Tom Brady against the Dolphins on the Colts. So clearly, it's not a quarterback thing. I'm not saying Daniel Jones would have succeeded with the Giants even with the better O-line. I'm saying that the Giants have a lot of issues, and I was very excited at least going into the season, and it was extreme letdown. And now I don't know how to feel about this Giants team, and I'm very upset. I'm very upset by it. Lianne, what do you want to say? I see you grinning.
I think Russell Wilson is the problem. I'm going to start with that. Yes, there are other problems. You guys have a good defensive line. I don't like Russell Wilson. I think you should just give Dart a chance. I think he has to be better. I don't have that much time, but I had a question for Owen, and I guess you too. Would you take J.J. McCarthy over Dart?
Oh, I'm so happy you asked this. I'm thrilled you asked this. Hey, I was just about to get into it. Thank you for the toss.
Yes, it's a great question. Let's hear it.
Looked god awful, just like the Giants for 3.5 quarters. You guys looked horrendous. All of a sudden, a little bit of time left, and you guys.
Game for McCarthy.
So listen. So you guys got it done. It was an impressive last, let's say, 8-10 minutes, but you guys looked horrible.
No, it was impressive fourth quarter.
Right, so an impressive fourth quarter. Same thing. You guys looked terrible leading up. There was nothing, defense, offense. You guys looked just like the Giants. But you got the win, and the W's are what matters. So, no, I would take Dart.
That was a dub.
Over him, though. One game is not representative. I would take Dart for sure.
I'm very happy that you said this, and it's on camera, so we have it recorded.
I still say Dart. We haven't seen Dart in the NFL yet either. McCarthy is great with the system, and the Vikings, we know they have a great system. Look at what they did to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was fantastic for a reason. The Vikings have a great system. I think anyone will look really good on that team. It's like the Niners. I don't think Brock Purdy's that good of a quarterback, but their system is what's right. So that's what I say about McCarthy. I'm going to say this.
They're a win now team. There's a lot of pressure on McCarthy. I agree with that.
So
I think he rose to the occasion, though. He threw a horrendous pick six that I know that's in the forefront of Owen's mind is that pick six.
I texted you. I was like, ugh.
Adam off. Didn't watch anymore. Sam went to bed. I have no idea. I still haven't heard from Sam. Me and my dad watching. The way he bounced back from that, I don't think many quarterbacks can do that. I really don't.
And I agree. And that is what makes me a fan of him, because I texted you saying I think he's legit when you kind of bounce back on when I said, JJ, yikes, that text. I respect what he did, and I think a lot of rookies cannot do that. So I will give him props.
Do that.
No, exactly. I give him a lot of props. Owen, go ahead.
No. He stepped up. Like I said, the last 10 minutes or so, they really, the whole team stepped up defensively, offensively. They looked good at the end. 3 really bad quarters. The one thing I'll say is, the one unfortunate thing for you, Lianne, we've talked about this in the past, is there's so many better teams, and it's the same story. You guys might actually be decent, might not. I'm not actually sure how good you guys are. But regardless, you guys are going nowhere this season. There's too many teams that are much more talented, whether offensively, defensively, coaching. You guys have no shot. I'll say this on camera. You could say, oh, I'm wrong, whatever. At the end, you guys aren't going to.
Tell me 5 other teams that have a better defense than the Vikings.
Oh,
yeah,
defense.
You guys
defense. I think Packers.
Hold on, you guys gave up 4 last night against a very average team. Why is your defense so good?
First of all, it was a pick 6, so they didn't. They have an excellent defense. Excellent.
Their defense looked good. I will say it didn't look great. Second half, they looked much better. But at the same time, they're playing against the Bears, who I don't think have a great offensive line. Caleb Williams, we saw him all last year getting wrecked, right? I don't think they did a lot of stuff to their O-line. I think it'll be a difference when you play a real team with a real O-line, like some team like the Lions, who actually were not good, but that's a whole other thing. The Lions or the Packers.
Fine.
Yeah, that's another question there.
I will say this, though. Okay, he didn't look good in the first 3 quarters. The guy hasn't played meaningful football in over 600 days.
True.
For Michigan. He's 63-4 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and I like JJ. I don't know. I'm not, but we can't talk about Dart. We haven't seen him play in the NFL yet, and I don't know. And also, when we do, it's going to be hard to. But it's also our O-line, right? If we put him in this year, I don't think that'll even make a difference. If he's great, that's great. But if he's bad, that means nothing, because we have arguably the worst O-line in the NFL, while you guys have a fantastic O-line. Not fantastic, sorry, I take that back. A good O-line, but a fantastic compared to the Giants. That's how I see that. But I want to hear your thoughts, though, on the Vikings. How did you feel watching that game, Lianne? Because, you're the biggest Vikings fan in the entire world from Toronto. No one loves her Vikes more than Lianne.
Owen, that's true? Owen has a good friend that's also
one of my friends, diehard Vikings fan. I mean, he's right up there with, Lianne and Kula, so... I don't know. Shout out to my buddy Jake Heft. He's a big Vikings fan, but Lianne's up there. She's there.
So as a relatively big fan, how'd you feel? Because Jefferson didn't get the ball. He's on my fantasy team. I won by 2 points. Thank you, Jefferson. But man, I was freaking out.
He had some drops. Thielen had a drop. Like, listen, his receivers weren't helping him out either.
No, true. Yep, true.
What I will say is Elway, Aikman, look at their first games as quarterbacks.
Eli Manning too didn't have a good game.
They were awful. Listen, I am not gonna sit here and say that he is the next Peyton Manning, but I think he's good. I think he's the real deal. I'm very excited about him. I think that if he ends up just being serviceable, we can end up being a Super Bowl team. Mark my words.
I'm not gonna say Super Bowl team. I like the kid. I like JJ. I think he's cool. I love the eye black stuff he has going on. Jackson Darts is cooler though. Not, no offense, JJ.
So
You don't know your stuff.
I have to go in a couple minutes, but when are they? When do you think Jackson Dart's gonna go in?
Okay. Oh, I'll let Owen answer this one.
I don't know. I mean, supposedly Dable went to management and said he wanted him basically tomorrow. So I don't know. I'm not even sure if he's going to end up playing this year. It depends how bad Russell Wilson is. It depends if they give Jameis Winston a shot. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Dart. It might take a Tom Brady situation. An injury, Wilson or Winston get injured. They roll out the young kid, and the lights are bright. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that there's reports that Russell Wilson is starting against the Cowboys. I agree with you on that. I don't think it's smart to put in Dart yet because of all the issues that they have, because he's going to get killed, right? He's going to get killed on the field. We have a terrible O-line. It's just not the smartest thing to do.
It's not good for his, but at the same time.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to add, the O-line, and it's the one thing I let off with, and you talked about too, Jacqueline. I also think the guy behind the O-line either makes it look better or worse. So I think if you put Dart back there, the O-line might look a little more manageable because you have a guy who might be just better, younger, more athletic, better armed, just making better decisions overall as a quarterback. So while I think our offensive line is the same old story until we see different, proof, or we see improved performance from the O-line, I think someone like Dart maybe could actually make it look reasonable because he's just younger and probably better at this point than Russell Wilson.
He could move in the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole thing was a disaster. So it's and obviously we both brought up Daniel Jones. Again, it's one game. I think the Dolphins are a horrible, horrible team. So I don't think it's like, oh, Daniel Jones is a savior in Indianapolis. But I mean, look, he was behind a good offensive line and he looked very good. So I don't know. I mean, it's anecdotal, but
he looked very good against the Vikings in that playoff game too, Owen.
Well, he looked very good, and that was sweet. That was sweet.
Hey, who got that win, baby?
Yeah, that was
Danny
sweet.
Dimes over the Vikes. That was sweet. No, but Lianne, yeah, you know what? It was a very impressive win. Props to JJ. Props to your whole team, coaching staff. You guys do a great job there, and that's why you guys are always somewhat contenders every year with Kirk Cousins, with Sam Darnold. You even did it with Case Keenum back in the day. Is that even his name? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
That was 2017 with Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
You guys know how to kind of be in the mix. I don't know if JJ's gonna do it for you. I wouldn't even say, even if I was a fan, I don't know if I would even predict Super Bowl because it's a rookie and we don't see that too often, a rookie, but I think you can have a bright future as long as the kid stays healthy and you guys keep your management, because I don't know if the Lions are going to be good. I said that before this week because they lost their OC, they lost their DC, and I think they're going to fall apart because of that. So if you guys keep your guys, I think you can be really good.
My prediction, everyone's calling the Packers. That's a really good division overall, right? Between those three teams, Vikings, Lions, Packers, just a really good overall division. I think on top is the Lions. Lions rise to the top again. They'll be good in the end. They'll get their stuff together. They have one of the best coaches in the NFL. The Lions are going to win that division.
Yeah.
What do you say, Lianne?
No, I disagree. I think losing their coordinators. Listen, Ben Johnson called a horrible game yesterday, so let's see how he does as a head coach. I take the Bears out of it. I don't love the Lions. I think that they're going to take a step back, and unfortunately, I see Green Bay being a good team. I don't know. I'm not sold on Love, though, so we'll see. We have to go against them twice.
I don't know. I think he's leading with love. And I think I actually see it. Honestly, you're talking Super Bowl. I see you guys coming third in your division. I see Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. I actually think you're in for a tough playoff road. Tough playoff road.
I see Packers, Vikes, Lions, Bears. What's that whistling noise? Is that one of you guys? My gosh.
I don't think it's me.
I think it's me, but I do have to go.
Yeah, cuz.
To talk Vikes. Love you guys.
Love you, cuz. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, we'll talk a little more JJ soon, okay, cuz?
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Go Giants.
Bye, cuz. Go Giants!
Woohoo!
Cool.
It's gone.
Oh, it was her.
It was her.
That noise was her.
Yeah, I knew it.
God, it drive me crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's continue that. You know what? I liked what the Vikes did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be too hot on them, as I said, because what we saw was the first game of the year, right? We saw the nerves, but then we saw him come back. But it's also when you have a rookie quarterback, it's like you don't know how they're gonna play out. Sometimes their rookie year is their best year of their life. I don't think CJ Stroud is gonna be a great quarterback. I think he has a great rookie year, but the Vikings have a great team, and they always will. I think that's just with what their coaching staff does. I think they're a great team, but I'm not crazy high on them. But I think they'll be a playoff team.
I think I think they have a shot at the playoffs for sure. But I actually think they come third in their division. So, I'm not I don't know where they play. Like I really do believe it will end up being Lions, Packers, Vikings. Packers look very good. I just think the Lions will get it together. I think they're a really good franchise, really good team, just loaded offensively. Lost some pieces, sure, but I think they're really, really good. So I think they're in a tough division. We'll see what they do. Getting a win is super important in the NFL, so it doesn't matter how you get it. If you get it, you get it. Talk to the Bengals. The Bengals looked really bad like usual, and they got the win, and I'm sure they're quite relieved, right? They'll work on their stuff and try to get it together. So a win is a win in this league, right? As Giants fans, we would have loved to have pulled out a miracle win on Sunday. So good for the Vikings. They found a way to get it done, but we'll see what they do. I think they're coming third in that division, though, so I think they're in for a tough season. But I do agree with you. Talented team. I just think they're in a really hard division. So
Tough one. It's going to be very, very tough. But let's talk about the team that you have been just dying to talk about, man. The game, Ravens, Bills.
Wow.
Sunday night. So first, but before you start,
Yeah.
I barely watched the game.
Sure.
I was kind of knocked out from the Giants game. I usually will watch the Sunday game, and I regret it. And don't worry, it's not a normal thing for me to not watch the Sunday game. I was just feeling so defeated, and I just did not want to watch any football. I then watched a little bit, and I saw that it was 40-25, and I'm like, this game's done. I went up to bed. My dad texted me being like, are you watching this? I'm like, huh? I put it on my phone, and I see that the Bills are about to kick a field goal to win the game. So I since have watched the whole game, in 25 minutes, how they put that on YouTube. So I know kind of everything that happened. But you watched that game, Owen, and tell me what was going through your head, and with arguably one of the greatest games that we've seen in years.
Yeah, so for regular season, I got to say, one of the greatest games I've ever seen. I basically saw the whole game. I missed bits and pieces because I was out a little bit for dinner and then went back home. So I maybe missed a few minutes here and there, but I saw most of the game, and the commentators talked about it. The Bills seemed down and out for most of that game. I was actually in a group chat with all my friends. They're all huge football fans. All fans of different teams, right? One guy's a Bills fan, one guy Texans. We all kind of like different teams. And I was kind of, reverse jinxing, trolling the Bills. I kept going, this game's done. They have no path to victory, right? My friends are all saying, oh yeah, the game's still go. Some of my friends actually in the chat saying, what are you talking about? It's the Bills. They have a chance, right? I was sort of in the chat kind of saying outrageous stuff, trolling a little bit, saying they're dead. The Ravens are stomping them, all the stuff. The last 4 minutes of the game, they have a 0.9% chance of winning, and it's pandemonium. It's hard to even break down what we watched because they really felt like they were down and out. They would score a touchdown, then all of a sudden, Derrick Henry stomps a huge one, or Lamar Jackson runs 15 yards backward just to make a 20-yard gain. We were just seeing outrageous things, and the Bills' defense looked like Swiss cheese.
And
bad
defense.
Josh Allen in the fourth quarter was something I don't want to say you've never seen because I've seen him be great in the fourth quarter many times, but 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, I believe. It was
stunning.
It was insane what he did. It's hard to put into words how unbelievable that ending was.
It was unreal. And shout out to Keon Coleman, who he's in his sophomore year. His rookie year didn't go as expected. I think we expected a lot more. What a game. What a catch in the end zone, eh? What a catch for that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really great game. So I got to give him a huge shout out. Josh Allen, dude, he's my favorite player in the NFL. I'm so upset that he's not a New York Giants. I'm really jealous of Bills fans. I really I have a real envy for them because even though they don't win, it's so fun. It's like the Jays this year. I know everyone's jealous of us because we're having a fun time. I know I'm wearing a Dodgers hat, but it's just style. It's just style right now.
For sure.
Jays fan for life. Don't worry. But the Bills have fun, and as Torontonians, Bills will always be our second team. I would say.
Yeah.
I think we kind of have to for it to be. I love them. So anytime the Giants aren't playing or are out, Bills 100%. I am a Bills second tier fan.
Yeah.
What a showing we saw, but man, I can't believe fans left early. You know, Bills fans don't do that. They left early.
I mean, Bills fans are diehard. First of all, I agree with your sentiment, Jacqueline. Like, Bills are always going to be my second team. My brother's a diehard Bills fan, so I've watched playoff games with him. We've went to, like, Orchard Park, went to playoff games. I've went to regular season games. The only time I didn't root for the Bills at a game was when we went to Bills-Giants a few years ago. Obviously, I rooted for the Giants. But Bills, for sure, the second team. I mean, the fans leaving early is a little bit crazy. I mean, they look down and out. Like I said, the statistics were that the Ravens had a 99.1% chance of winning with 4 minutes left, meaning if you simulate 100 games with 4 minutes left, only 1 out of 100 the Bills win. That was the 1 out of 100. So to give the fans a little bit of a break, it really did look like they were just going to lose by 14, 15 points and kind of, pack shop up and go home.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, Keon Coleman, that tip catch is unbelievable. But bigger than that, Jacqueline, I mean, Ed Oliver, that's one of the, just an all-time great defensive play. I believe at that point they're down by 8 points, if I'm not wrong. It was
they were 40 to 32. Yeah,
and this is Derrick Henry, one of the greatest running backs. I was going to say of all time. I'm probably not wrong in saying that. One of the
I would especially with that kind of physique, that built to be able to play the way he does. Right. I would put him in the at least top 20.
And for sure one of the best in the league today. Like, just to have the ball punched out like that, prime time in a huge moment when you can't fumble. I mean, Ed Oliver, that was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen defensively in such a big moment to give them a chance to go win the game. And there's just so many big stories to talk about, but obviously Prater, he signed off the street, on the Thursday or Friday, doesn't even really know his teammates, and comes in and was cold-blooded out there. Like, cold.
Unreal.
I mean, it's there's almost too many storylines to talk about, so I don't know what direction you want to go in exactly.
I know.
But it's just one of the greatest regular season games I've ever seen in my life.
I'm so mad that I didn't watch it, and it wasn't like I was busy. I was just so gassed from the day, because it's also the first Sunday, and that day it's so exciting, but then I it's always exhausting because we're not used to it. We're not used to watching football all day, so I'm like I can't watch right now. I'll watch the second half. So I did, and I saw that it was a bit of a blowout, so I'm like, I'm going to bed. I was so tired from the day, but I regret it. I'm happy I'm able to watch pretty much the full game now, so I can know what we're talking about, obviously. But to witness that, man, was unreal. And
the pandemonium, right? Like when Matt Prater hits that kick, which was almost blocked, by the way. I mean, you can see on the replay, nearly blocked. The stadium went insane, right? Mr. Brightside, the players are dancing on the field. It was pandemonium. They were missing a few thousand fans who left early. It was, I don't know, it felt like it was out of a movie. Like a movie couldn't script the way that game went, right? They're down 40-25, 4 minutes left. It's not looking good, and they just everything. Like, you get 2 touchdowns, you miss the 2-point conversions. You have a huge defensive play from Ed Oliver. Your kicker comes in clutch at the end, which we know the Bills have a history of missing big field goals.
Even
right?
Giants.
So, like it's crazy. So I it almost feels like a team of destiny, right? They've been so close so many times. They've ran into the Chiefs, who obviously are a special team, a dynasty team, with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It almost feels like that's the way you start your week one in your last year. Right, they're moving to a new stadium next year. It almost feels like maybe it's a team of destiny. I know it's week one; it's really early to say that, but that was just special. Like it was like you win 41-40.
It was
unreal,
unreal.
And it really felt like for the majority of the game they were chasing behind. Right, they were getting punched in the mouth by the Ravens. Couldn't stop them. Couldn't stop Zay Flowers. Couldn't stop Derrick Henry. Couldn't stop Lamar Jackson. And then all of a sudden, Josh Allen puts on the Superman cape with 10 minutes left in the game, and it was truly one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in a regular season game. And I know we're only in week one, Jacqueline, but it's hard not to think that won't go down as the best game all season. It's really hard to think of a game topping that.
I'm trying to think of something that, I guess a different game would just be evenly matched the entire game. Remember we had I think it was Rams Chiefs.
I might.
Here, I'm just gonna double check. November 2018, Rams Chiefs 54-51. That was one of the best games because it was evenly matched the whole time. And sometimes we like that more than a comeback win because it's entertaining the entire way through. So I'm gonna say that is what can make it better than what we witnessed Bills Ravens is just a battle throughout the entire game.
I also
what
think,
what
well, I was just going to say, I think it's important to note as well, if you want to talk about classic games, I don't have one in mind. The super kind of football fans, nerds who have great memories might be able to pull up specific games. But back in the day, Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning, New England Patriots, Tom Brady had some epic regular season playoff clashes. Like they had games that were like 45-42 or, these crazy high-scoring games where it was like one team wins by 2 or 3 points. And they had that in the playoffs and in the regular season, right? So those teams have had some wars. So if you want to think about classic games with two of the greatest quarterbacks ever, you just look at the Colts and Patriots. And the crazy thing about those games, Jacqueline, is that at the time we knew they were special quarterbacks. We didn't know that we were talking about 2 top 5 quarterbacks ever. Some people might say Peyton Manning's top 10. That's fine. So 2 top 10 quarterbacks ever, and one of them being by far the greatest ever. Now, the interesting thing is I say that is Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen could go down as some greats as well. The thing is they don't have the Super Bowls yet or the resumes, so we don't know. But I mean, yeah, we've been spoiled as football fans, right? We've had so many great games over the years, so there's so many examples you can.
Definitely. So yeah, so right now, and a part of me also thinks, was this too early to have a game like this? Because it's now every game is going to be, oh, well, it wasn't the Ravens-Bills Sunday Night Football Week 1 game. Were we spoiled a little too much and we're going to be a little bit bitter?
No. The reason I say no is I think there's a lot of really good teams. I think the Chiefs are still really good. I think Packers, Lions, I think there's a lot of great teams, the Bills, of course, the Ravens. So I think you'll see these great matchups come throughout the season and we'll have great games. I think the top teams, Bills, Ravens, I think the Chiefs will end up being great. Those top teams, I think, will have some epic, matchups in the playoffs. I think we'll be spoiled in the playoffs for sure. So I don't think it's too early. I think it's a great way to start the season. Yes, will we look back and go, wow, that was a top 3, maybe the best game of this season? I think there's a great possibility. But I think the NFL is a very unpredictable league, and I think we'll look back and we'll say, well, that was a fantastic start. There's still a lot of other great games that came throughout the season. Yeah. So I don't think it's too early. I think it was actually a beautiful way to start off our, one Sunday football. I think it was just epic, and honestly happy for Bills fans because that was just like so exciting. And listen, if that was the Giants, can you imagine what we'd be saying right now on this podcast? The New York Giants did that.
Oh my gosh, dude!
I'm
so jealous. I'm so jealous because it's like we can't even score a touchdown in a game. Right. You know what I mean? Like when we get a first drive, when we get a first down, it's the most exciting thing in my life. You know what I mean? And, it's like,
and by the way, like we didn't even say this. We talked about a few guys. James Cook was unbelievable. He had that 50-yard. I believe it was catch and run. It was a little dump off, I believe, right? Yeah. They almost ran it in. Allen ended up getting the 1-yard touchdown. James Cook was fantastic. I think he had 16 touchdowns last year. Was a difference maker again. A big reason they won that game. I mean, two fantastic teams, and I think we've chatted about it before. To just shift gears a tiny bit on the Ravens part, I think I may have talked about Lamar Jackson in past podcasts. I never liked him. I think he's a choker. I've always maintained with friends that he'll never win a Super Bowl. I think it's another example of exactly what that culture is there, exactly of what they are. They find ways to lose games. I do not think the guy's a winner. I think he's unbelievable. He almost won MVP last year. But I actually think we saw exactly why Josh Allen beat him out. Not that Josh Allen has gotten over the hump either. But if you say to me Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, whether it's regular season or playoffs, I'm taking Josh Allen 1,000 of 1,000 times. I'm never taking Lamar Jackson. He's fantastic. We've seen what he can do. He's a special talent. But I think, to me, Josh Allen is a superior quarterback.
I would agree.
And honestly, if the game's on the line or if it's a big playoff spot, I'm taking Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm taking Josh Allen over Joe Burrow, clearly. I mean, Joe Burrow, I know he was in that top 3, top 4, and it seems like he's sort of evaporated the last year or two. And some of it's injuries, and I know he did make the Super Bowl. We should also
Yeah.
say the guy did make a Super Bowl, but still, in a lot of ways, I feel like he has not been there in certain chunks the last few years. So to me, I mean, the only thing I think I'm taking.
Yeah, Burrow, it's tough though, just because his team is so bad. Like he could have won MVP last year,
Yeah,
even though his team was so bad.
yeah.
But with the yeah,
No, I was gonna say Burrow's still a special talent. I don't want to be too harsh on him. I think he's still great. I was just gonna say I think the only guy I'm taking over Allen is, and I don't know if it's actually even talent, more might be system, is just Patrick Mahomes. And again, I don't even know if it's fully his talent's great. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time already, Patrick Mahomes. But a lot of that's the system, right? He's in a system where it's just as good as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100% agreed. Yeah, and to go back with the Ravens, I think Lamar Jackson is such a special player, such a special talent, someone I don't know if we're ever going to see again, that kind of player. But as you said, the culture in the Ravens, it's they win in the regular season, but then they're gone in the playoffs and they lose games in an ugly way like this. And so I don't think that they're going to win it. There has to be changes. I think Lamar Jackson can win it, but I think this system that they have going on, they're going to win in the regular season. They're going to be a playoff team, but I really don't see them getting it done in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I think that'd be great for the Ravens and for Lamar because I think he deserves a Super Bowl. He really does, but they just can't win it. And yeah, as you said too with the Bills, they haven't won it, but they know how to perform in the playoffs, right? We've seen unreal matchups between him and Mahomes. In the AFC Championship game that always goes to the Chiefs for whatever reason, but I think both are great talents, and we're so lucky to get this because, we didn't know what kind of football we were going to get after the Brady and the Manning eras and Rodgers now. Rodgers is actually amazing, but Rodgers is in the end of his career. We have great players who are now going to be our stars and who are going to go down as Hall of Famers. So I think we're very lucky to get that.
I think that was an amazing point, Jacqueline, and you just made a nice little segue for me. I mean, shout out to Aaron Rodgers. By the way, I've at times been a big hater, right? I think he's weird. I think some of his politics, stuff, it gets strange. And
crazy guy.
Sat in a room for 5 days and did drugs. I don't know. I think he's a bizarre person. He's always in the spotlight. He has fights with media, with teammates, with coaches. So, bit of a bizarre person. At times, he's rubbed me the wrong way, but he just balled out on the Steelers. I mean, he looked like prime Aaron Rodgers. 4 touchdowns. He looked great. They found a way to get the win. Shout out to that guy, right? He's had a lot of haters.
Playing in New York again, playing on the Jets, who they hate him there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be impressed by what he did. I don't know how it kind of goes the rest of the season, but I mean, man, if you're a Steelers fan, you got to be excited. He looked like Aaron Rodgers. Again, the zip. I only watched parts of that game because obviously I was watching the Giants for the most part. The zip is not there. Prime Aaron Rodgers, that Hail Mary, that zip. You know the classic, right? The pass interference. He rolls backwards left, throws the craziest ball you've seen in your life. And I go, how is this guy a human being? He doesn't quite have that anymore, but still, he looked really, really good for someone who's, close to 40, around 40 years old?
40. I think he's already 40, but yeah, it's unbelievable the way he played. I didn't, he possibly was he was going to retire after last season, and the fact that he's still playing, he goes to Pittsburgh. Yeah, sorry, he's 41, turning 42 in December.
Wow,
which is unbelievable. It's like Tom Brady stats we could possibly see from him. But yeah, it's really cool to see the longevity of his career and what he can do. And yeah, listen, him and DK Metcalf can become an amazing duo, both big personalities. But we can see, and also they're also being coached by one of the greatest coaches of all time, Mike Tomlin, arguably the great. He could go down as the greatest coach. He's kept the Steelers consistent, have been a playoff team forever. So I see them actually being a really real threat to the AFC this year. Not as much as obviously not as much as when they were back in the day when Antonio Brown was himself and Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell even in those days. But I see them being a really good team, and that shout out to Mike Tomlin because I think he'll go down as the greatest.
I think Mike Tomlin's for sure top 10, top 20 coach. A lot of coaches, it's hard to really sift through, right? We have a lot of Bill Parcells, and you have the Belichicks, and you have Andy Reid. So it's really hard to he probably doesn't match up to the top, but he's fantastic. No, he's great. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't think. Can you honestly say, take away bias? And I actually kind of, the Steelers are a cool franchise. He matches up to Andy Reid or Bill Belichick. I don't really think it's as good as he is. Those two guys are. I feel like a different level. No. Like just
I
those.
think Tomlin. I think Tomlin is better than Belichick because
Wow.
Tomlin has had to work with so many different quarterbacks.
Okay.
Not saying Belichick only had Brady because he didn't. He's been a coach long before Brady got there. But Belichick's glory days as a head coach were because of Tom Brady, and then look what happened to the Patriots when Tom Brady left. And then look at him now in college football getting blown out in week 1, winning week 2 though.
I for sure want to say I remember having debates with friends. You just kind of brought up something that it's a good transition point where there'd be arguments. Is it Brady? Is it Belichick? Is it both? And I had a lot of friends I remember who would think it's Belichick. I had friends who would think it's Brady. I had people who would think it's a combination. Brady got the last laugh, right? I mean, and apparently, there was always for years people would say, oh, there's an ego battle there, right? They're not getting along because they both want to take credit for this dynasty. We clearly saw who came out who was the true kind of alpha, right? Belichick falls off in the NFL, has no success. Brady goes out like the next year and wins a Super Bowl. So we clearly saw, and that's like for him that stamp, right? Like he's already the greatest ever. He just put a stamp on it saying, hey, for all the people who said it was Bill Belichick or for all the people who said X, Y, Z, I went out like it was either the next year or 2 years later, I can't fully remember, and win a Super Bowl. I mean, it just speaks volumes about
It's
who he was.
amazing to see. Yeah, it was unreal because I was one of those people that I obviously was not a Brady fan,
Sure.
and I would say it's all Belichick, Belichick, and I was silenced because of that. Like, I regret saying that because I really believe that it was Brady. I really believe that Belichick is a great coach and obviously should be considered one of the greatest of all time. But I think what Tomlin has done with the Steelers of being consistent, listen, he doesn't have as many Super Bowls, obviously, but for having to work with the amount of quarterbacks that he has worked with and been able to be a playoff team and to be an actual contender deserves way more respect than what Belichick did. And also with the way Andy Reid, Andy Reid has been in the NFL a very long time and he won and he deserves the credit as well. But I think Tomlin 100% should be considered as a top 5 coach of all time.
And the Steelers still have the record of always being over 500, right? 500 or
I
better.
believe
They
so.
still have that, right? Which is pretty. I mean, that's also just insane that he's managed to keep the team 500 or better every year. It's such an amazing stat. So I'm with you. Like, shout out to Mike Tomlin. Again, I don't know if I fully agree that he's on those two guys' levels, but
Yeah.
regardless, he goes down as a Hall of Fame coach and one of the greatest ever. So I'm with you there.
Definitely.
A fun note, still on NFL. I don't know. Have you ever done survivor pools, Jacqueline? NFL?
Yes, yeah.
So this week, and this is a fun conversation, I took the Bengals.
Interesting.
Man, did I get lucky that
Wow.
the rookie kicker's coming out, 36-yard field goal. I was literally screaming at the TV, miss, miss, miss.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I was really lucky, really, really lucky.
Prior to over the Bengals, man, they have a terrible week 1 record.
So yes,
That's
and
why.
a lot of my friends saying, "What are you doing? They're terrible to start the season off." I just think the Browns are an incompetent organization, incompetent team. I thought they'd find a way to lose. I didn't think it'd be as stressful as it was. The Bengals were, I think, 5.5-point favorites. They clearly didn't cover the spread, not even close. But I didn't want to take the Broncos because I kind of wanted to.
I want the Broncos. I want the Broncos.
I wanted to fade them just simply thinking, over 300 people in my league took the Broncos. So if the Broncos somehow step on a landmine, I'm still there, in the pool, and a bunch of people are eliminated. I don't know. I think it really came down to it's Joe Burrow and he's facing the Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco. I got lucky. They really shouldn't have won that game. They were the classic Bengals. It was just the kicker, and I don't even know what his name is, that poor rookie kicker who's
I have no idea.
Yeah, whatever his name is. I mean, I don't know if he's been cut yet or not, but he missed a field goal. He missed an extra point. I don't know if he's even still on that team, but regardless, that was just a horrendous choke. Anyways, I was so happy. Like I couldn't have gotten luckier, right? I should have been out of the pool. So
it's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the way to win it. It was amazing. Yeah, a lot of crazy endings. Before we end it, I want to talk about week 2.
Yeah.
Give a little bit of predictions of what we're gonna see. I can read off the games we're gonna see, and I want you to tell me who's gonna win it. I want to hear your predictions,
Perfect.
and I'll tell mine as well. So we got Thursday night. I'm gonna post this actually on Thursday. So I hope nothing crazy happens in the football world because this is gonna be going up in 2 days. But on Thursday we got Commanders versus Packers. In a biased way, a little bit biased, but also just of what we saw in week 1, I'm going Packers. I'm not talking about spreads here. When it comes to spreads, that changes things. I'm in a pool with spreads, so that'll be my own issue. But I think Packers are going to win it. I think it'll be a close game though.
who's the home team?
Packers in Green Bay.
Do you happen to have the point spread by any chance in front of you? If not, I can just.
It says, minus 3.5 Packers. So
So I
Commanders
was
are
actually thinking in my head, like the home team, I think it might have a little bit of an edge here. If you said Commanders were home, I might go Commanders. Because the Packers look great, Parsons will be a bigger part of that team. I'm going to go Packers too. I agree with you. I think very close game. I think wouldn't be shocked, but I think I'll go like maybe like a similar score to the Vikings game, maybe a 27-24 Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be a field goal game.
Yeah.
Next, we got Giants Cowboys, 6.5 spread. 5.5 spread. It says here. I think the Cowboys are going to win it. Sadly, I want to be higher on my Giants. I'm going to go into this game cheering for my Giants, hoping for a win. But if I'm talking, history and also what we've seen from both teams, the Cowboys look a lot better than I thought they were going to look, and the Giants looks a lot worse than I thought. But listen, it's week 2. It's a new team. It's Russell Wilson. We don't know what we're going to see. So I think Cowboys are going to win it, but I think the spread, I think it's going to be a closer game. I think Russell Wilson and the Giants are going to make it a tight game.
And the Cowboys are home, right? Cowboys are the home team for that game? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Cowboys. I'm going to put one caveat on that. I hate the Cowboys. They're maybe
Hate them.
Maybe in all of sports, like all the 4 major sports, might be the most hated team.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
It's sickening to think about them beating us. I'm going to throw a caveat. I'm actually going to call it a bold prediction. I'm going to say this right now. If Jackson Dart ends up playing or being the starter, the Giants will win. If it's Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. If it's Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston, we lose. If Jackson Dart makes the start, the Giants will pull off the upset win. That is what I'm going to say. But for predictions, because right now as we speak, it's Russell Wilson starting, I'm going to say the Cowboys win by 8 or 9 points. Something like that.
All right. Next, we got Rams Titans. Cam Ward, rookie quarterback, did not look bad in his start. Guys just couldn't catch the ball, honestly. I think the Titans are a bit of a mess still. I think the Rams are going to win it. It says, and Titans are at home, but Rams minus 5.5. I think Rams are gonna win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I felt really bad for Cam Ward. He had so many drops. I was watching a lot of that game. There was a million drops in that game. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the Rams are the better team. Yeah, I agree with you. Rams.
Yeah. Next we got Steelers Seahawks in Pittsburgh. Minus 2.5 for Steelers. That could be a really interesting game. I'm going to go Steelers again. I think they're going to win it by maybe a field goal or a touchdown, because what we saw with the Jets kept it really close with the Steelers. I thought Steelers were going to win by more. I think we can see the same thing here by the Seahawks and Steelers. Definitely could be an interesting matchup, and it's DK Metcalf versus his former team, which could be really cool.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I've been kind of, as we were talking, I was debating in my head what I think is going to happen there. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. They look, decent in week 1. I'm not sure how good they're going to be, the Seahawks, but they didn't look bad in week 1. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think a close game. We'll see. Like I said, Rodgers looked fantastic week 1, but I just wouldn't be shocked to see him struggle. I know they are at home. It's a tough one, but I'm going to go Seahawks. I'm going to say a close one. I'll also say, just to add a little bit of analysis, I think Aaron Rodgers will struggle a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be the same as last week. I could see him maybe throwing 1 or 2 interceptions, and maybe the Seahawks kind of eking out maybe a 2 or 3 point win on the road.
All right. Yeah. Next, we got Bills at Jets. Bills minus 6.5. I'm going to say Bills are going to win it. I think they're going to win by a lot. Fields had a great game for his first game of the Jets, but I really don't think he's a good quarterback, unfortunately. I like the guy, I do, but I think the Bills are going to win by 13, 14 points.
It's funny, like what I was going to say when you said that was Bills by a million, right? I was going to say Bills by a million. So classic, Bills fans love to say that. So yeah, I mean, I'll stick with it. Bills by a million. I think they're going to stomp them. I think the Jets obviously they looked pretty decent in week 1, even though they obviously lost. But I think the Bills are just the better team. The Bills are the class of their division, so I'm going to go with the Bills road win against a division rival.
Yeah. Next, we got Bears at Lions. This will be interesting because I really don't think the Lions are going to be good this year. I like the Lions, right? It's kind of our third team, I guess I would say, at least for me, because Detroit's very close to Toronto, and I've been to a game there. I like the Lions. I like what they have going on, but I'm a little bit worried about what they're going to be like with no OC or DC. I think the Lions will win this. I think it'll be a very close game. It is Lions minus 5.5. I think it'll be a 3-point game. I think it'll come down to the wire. And I think Caleb Williams will play better Sunday than he did Monday.
That's fair. I think that's definitely a fair breakdown. I think the Lions are going to make their point. I think they're going to kind of show they're still in the driver's seat. I think they're going to show they're still right there with the Packers in the class of the division. I say the Lions win by 10 points. I think they'll win handily. I think they'll show they're still a great team. So yeah, I got the Lions, and I think they're going to win by quite a large margin actually.
Next, we got Browns at Ravens, minus 10.5, 1 o'clock game. Yeah, I think Ravens by a million in this one. Ravens always play really well during the 1 o'clock games. I don't know if that's a stat, but I just know in the past couple of years, they always play really well. And I believe against the Browns as well, I think they could win this game by 20 points.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money, Jacqueline. I think a really big point too is, and I always look for this in Survivor, I always like to kind of look at this, is does a team have an emotional high or low or whatever after a really big game? I actually think they're just going to be angry. I think they lost in a brutal fashion. I think they could win that game minimum 10 points. They can win that game up to 25 points. So I think they win by a lot. You said I could see Ravens by a million. I think the Browns are a bad organization going into Baltimore after the Ravens lost a brutal game. So I could see the Ravens absolutely stomping the Browns in this one for sure.
Yeah, listen, both teams lost brutal, like a tough one.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Browns and Bengals were close to the start, but the Browns don't really know how to bounce back. And I like Flacco, but I don't see him getting the win against Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. And yeah, as you said, with the spread, it'll be a big spread as well, I believe. So going Ravens. And then next we have Niners at Saints, minus 4.5 for the Niners. I'm going to go Niners. I don't think they're great this year. Obviously dealing with injuries. Once again, McCaffrey isn't himself. He is playing, but he's not himself. The Saints, I think they're going to be terrible all year. So I don't think Spencer Rattler is a franchise quarterback. So I'm going to go Niners, winning it by a touchdown at least.
Touchdown, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go Niners as well. I agree with you. I think, although did Purdy get hurt in the last game? Am I making that up, or was there something?
Yeah,
Kittle got hurt for sure. I know Kittle got hurt for sure.
Kittle is out. Okay, that's something to note.
Yeah,
Kittle will be out for a couple weeks.
Sure.
I'm still not concerned with their tight end situation, though.
Sure. I think they're the more talented team. I might be making that up about Purdy, but anyways, yeah, Purdy's a better quarterback. They're the better franchise, better all around team. The only thing I disagree with you is I think it'll be close. They're on the road. I could see them winning by maybe 4 or 5, maybe 3. So less than a touchdown, right? I could see maybe 3 to 5 points. So I think it'll be close, but I'll go with the Niners as well.
Yeah, next we got Patriots at Dolphins, minus 1.5. Bad team versus another bad team. I think the Dolphins are going to win this. I don't think the Dolphins are terrible. I think Tyreek Hill is still should be considered one of the greatest receivers in the NFL. I think Tua and Tyreek have a really great connection. I think they're going to figure it out after a blowout loss. Patriots, I like Drake May, and I think he is their quarterback. I just think that they have a lot of issues. I think it'll be a very close game. I think it'll be a field goal winning game. I think it'll be a low scoring game as well.
You said that the Dolphins are favored by 1.5, or?
Dolphins are favored. Yep, minus 1.5.
Yeah, Tua turned the ball over. That should be his name, right? Tua turned the ball over. Yeah. Disagree a little bit with you on this one. I do think Hill's a talent, but I think he's not all there. He has a lot of issues, whether it's with the law and just with different situations, right? He's had a lot of different stuff. So I think he's a bit of a head case. I think Tua has his, obviously, concussion issues, and he turns the ball over. I think the Dolphins are an unmitigated disaster. I don't necessarily think Drake May is great by any means, but I see the Patriots winning this game. Probably a close game. It's really a toilet bowl of a game, right? I think you have two not great teams, but I'll lean Patriots. I'll say the Patriots maybe win by 3 or 4 points. But yeah, really, you said it well. 2 bad teams, and I'm just going to lean the Patriots on this one.
All right, next for the last 1 o'clock game, Jaguars at Bengals. I like the Jaguars. Not in this game necessarily, but Trevor Lawrence, this is his year that he has to prove it. And to see Travis Hunter on the field is really cool, to see both on offense and defense. They have their rookie coach, who was the only rookie coach to get the win on Sunday. I think he is great. I think they have a great team. I think it'll be a very close matchup. I think the Bengals will win this game, but I think, and it's Bengals minus 3.5 by the way in Cincinnati. I think the Bengals will win by a field goal.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow's gonna have to figure it out, right? The team's gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna go Bengals. I think they're going up against a sneaky, pretty good team, underrated team. But I think he's got to look himself in the mirror and the team in the mirror. That's not right. That's a win where I don't know what the coach said to the guys in the locker room, but you kind of go in there and you can't feel good about that win. You should have lost that game. There's so many different ways you lose that game, so they can't feel good. It's probably one of the Bills have that amazing feeling after that win, and the Bengals have probably a pretty bad feeling after that win, right? So again, both
Definitely.
teams are 1-0. They're still equal, the Bills and Bengals, but clearly very different ways to win a game. So I think they'll figure it out somewhat, and I think they'll find a way to go out on top and be 2-0. But that's a pretty good game. And also, if the Bengals don't win that game, it's like, what's happening there? Like, do they need a coaching change? Like, what's does Burrow? Like, I don't know if they lose that game. I wonder kind of what the narrative is in Cincinnati, right? If they don't win that game, so I'll agree with you though. I think Bengals find a way. But
And then for the 4 o'clock games, we have Panthers at Cardinals -6.5. I'm gonna go Cardinals are gonna win it by at least a touchdown. I'm not hot on either teams, but I think the Cardinals are gonna win it at home. 4 o'clock game. They usually perform pretty well there.
I think a lot of people are excited about the Cardinals. I actually will kind of come hand in hand and say I feel like I don't know a ton about that team just overall. I mean they're almost a touchdown favorite. They look good enough last week to win, right? They won. Yeah. They almost blew it at the end there, but they almost gave up a touchdown right at the last play. But they ended up winning, I think, 20-13. So I'll go Cardinals. You know, a lot of that's just off the spread. But yeah, honestly, that's one of those teams where I'm excited to watch throughout the year because, like I said, I really don't feel like I know a ton of just about the team overall. So I feel like as the year goes on, we'll learn a lot more about them and see if they are a threat or not, and kind of how that team does. So.
Definitely. Next we got Broncos at Colts. Broncos -1.5. This could be really interesting. I think, I don't want to, I'm not hating on Daniel Jones, but I also know Daniel Jones better than the Colts fans do because you and I are Giants fans.
Yep.
I think the Broncos are a much better team. I think we didn't see a necessarily great team this past week from the Broncos, but I think the Broncos are going to win this game, and I think it'll be a bit of a tight matchup. Not sure if it'll be a field goal or touchdown game, but I would definitely go Broncos on the spread.
Yeah, it's interesting. So they're favored by 1.5. Daniel Jones versus Bo Nix. Interesting matchup. Look, everyone was so hot on the Broncos preseason, right? They're Super Bowl champions. That defense is great. Like people are super hot on them. A lot of people are saying, they can make a deep run, possible Super Bowl. Don't know if I agree with that. They looked shaky at points in that game against the Titans. I also lean Broncos. I lean Broncos. I actually, that's an interesting one because both quarterbacks.
It's a tough one. This is a tough one.
It's tough one, and both quarterbacks have question marks, right? I don't know, Nix, Jones. I mean, they both have question marks. It's a fun game to watch. If I have to lean, I'll lean Broncos. But that's a fun one and could be a close game. So yeah, I'll agree with you, Broncos. But I think a close game.
Yeah, I think a lot of these that I'm saying, it's a lot of question marks. Like, I'm not so confident necessarily on a lot of these games that I've been saying. Sure. But next, we have one that is probably going to be very tough to pick. Eagles at Chiefs. Chiefs -1.5. Boy, oh boy, we got Super Bowl rematch. I honestly, listen, the Chiefs lost in Brazil to the Chargers. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a big factor going in. It's also Xavier Worthy is injured. That changes some stuff as well. They're at home. Obviously, it's their first home game because they weren't at home in Brazil. And the Eagles didn't look as poised as I remembered them last year against the Cowboys. This one is interesting. You know what? I'm going to go Chiefs. I think the Chiefs know how to get it done in weird ones, and I think they're going to win this one against the Eagles.
Really tough one, and you know how it's tough because
tough.
Right when you actually said Eagles Chiefs, my first instinct, which is what they usually say you should go with, was Eagles. Then as you kept talking, I was like, you know what? Never mind Chiefs. That's how you know it's tough when your mind switches midway through.
I'm switching back and forth, seriously, but I'm leaning Chiefs.
I'm going to go Chiefs for one reason only. They look bad in that Super Bowl. They're 0-1. They're back at Arrowhead, which has some of the best fans in the league. They know this is a super important game. You do not want to start off 0-2. They're going to bring everything but the kitchen sink. I'm going to say the Chiefs win a really, really close and competitive game. I could see it being like a 30-27, 30-28. I could even see it being a game-winning drive for like a field goal for the win or a game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Chiefs. It should be a super close game. I think they're just going to be a little bit more desperate, and they're going to come out, and I think they'll find a way late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, there's no way Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to start 0-2. After being in the Super Bowl last year, obviously getting blown out in the Super Bowl, but they're not a team that's going to start 0-2. So I think they're going to win this game, but it'll definitely be a great one. Definitely be the game of the week, I would say. That's the one that everyone's going to tune into. And then for the 8:20 game Sunday night, we have Falcons at Vikings -4.5. Why are the Vikings getting every primetime game? I like Penix. I do. I'm not crazy about the Falcons. The Falcons know how to choke. I'm going to go Vikings, but I think the Falcons are going to clear the spread with the -4.5.
Right. It was obviously Vikings -4.5, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, talk about the Falcons choking, right? They had the greatest choke in NFL history, I think we can say, 20,
Yeah.
right? I think, that's a tough title to have, but I don't really think we can look at any choke being worse than what they did in that Super Bowl. I mean, poor Matt Ryan. The guy will never have a Super Bowl. I mean, that's got to haunt him, right? You're going up against a guy who already had multiple rings, who doesn't need it. Brady loses that Super Bowl, he's fine. He still goes down as the GOAT.
Yeah.
So if you're Matty Ice, as they like to say, or Matt Ryan, that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. Yeah, I don't know. Another one I'm not certain on.
Tough.
I know we had Lianne on. We talked Vikings. I'm going to go Falcons. I don't have any deep-seated reason. There's unfortunately, I don't have a ton of analysis of why. I'm just going to more to stick it to Lianne. I'm going to go Falcons. More to stick it to Lianne than anything. I'm going to say Falcons. Probably a close game. But yeah, I'll just go Falcons more for the fun of it than anything else. Another team where I kind of want to watch more this year, kind of see how they do. I feel like I just don't know a ton about this team. It's tough, right? 32 teams, unless you do this for a living, which I definitely don't do this for a living. It's hard to know about every team, so I can kind of come hand in hand and say I don't know a ton about the Falcons. But more as a sticking point to Lianne, I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Yeah, listen, man, that's going to be me all year is I got to know everything about everyone this year in this football season because it's my first year doing football once again on the podcast since back in 2020, early 2021 as well. Yeah. So definitely going to be locked in on every team. I'm not going to do what I did on Sunday and just stop watching because I was so angry with my Giants. Can't do that as someone in sport media. I love my Giants, but I got to watch all the other games too and obviously have to have red zone on at all times because red zone's the greatest thing ever made. So definitely we'll have to lock into everything. But I don't know a lot about either teams, and it's really hard to because JJ we saw in that that win Monday night last night. So it'll be tough to kind of figure out what his scheme is. But I am going to go with the Vikings. They're at home, but yeah, it's a tough one, and Falcons could easily win this one too. So
I want to ask. I have a question for you and an announcement to make. I'll go with the question first. The question, and I know we kind of talked about it, but I want to go back to the Broncos. Do you think, at least offensively, do you think they're a good enough team to be a contender? Because I really saw a lot of talk about them. I'm just curious your thoughts on if that offense is good enough to actually be one of those top teams.
I don't think that they're going to be a contender. I think they can be a wild card team. I really don't see them getting past the real contenders that we see in the NFL, like the Ravens and the Bills and the Chiefs being an AFC team. Listen, if they're in the NFC, that changes things because the NFC, really the only two teams that are scary, or honestly the one team that's scary are the Eagles. There's no one else that I'm really scared of in this league, maybe the Packers, but the Broncos, I really don't see them getting past the wild card or divisional.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough, yeah. I just think it's their offense. Their defense looked fine, and people are excited for their defense. Yeah. Offensively, I don't know if they'll have what it takes, so I think I agree. In terms of the announcement, it's definitely a little bit of a curveball going into baseball, so that was a good way to segue.
Ooh.
Last time I came on your podcast, if people watched, and I know you remember this, Jacqueline, I had said, I'll be back on, I'm sure soon, and it was a very short time. I'm back on already. I had said that I'd possibly announce that if the Jays win the World Series, I would get a tattoo. I'll say this. I did want to give an update on this. More for you, because who knows if, who will see this or who won't. But I'm not willing to go all the way. This is what I will say. I'm pretty confident the Jays won't win at all. Again, a great team. I'm a Jays fan. I hope they do. I hope I'm proven wrong. Just don't see them doing it. I will either, and I can kind of clarify this in the future, commit right now that I will either, and you can be the one to do this, shave my head bald, and you can be the one to shave it, or get a small Jays tattoo. One or the other. I don't want to lock myself into a tattoo because, like I said in the last podcast, I've never gotten one. I want to think about that more. But I can commit right now that if the Toronto Blue Jays win the World Series this year, I will either let Jacqueline Kula shave my head bald or I will get a small Jays tattoo. One or the other. I will.
I love it. Whatever it is. Gladly will shave it. Gladly put it on the pod. Whatever we need to do. Would love you to get a small tattoo, but you'll have to think about a little bit more, and that's okay. Either or, man. I love it. I love the commitment you have. I love how you do this for your teams.
Yeah.
Even when you're doubting us, you're always kind of putting something in there in the mix. So I appreciate that. And yeah, you knowing that you don't think they're going to win it, but you know that there's a chance and that
Sure.
you love them and you want them to win.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And
Yeah.
thank you for the announcement. We'll have to confirm it shortly, but it is confirmed that you will for sure shave your head, or I will be shaving your head.
Yeah.
For the podcast, for our listeners and our viewers, and
Yeah.
would love to get a tattoo in the mix as well. But if not, that's all right. But before we end it, I'm not even gonna. You don't have to explain. I just want to hear your picks. Monday night, Bucks at Texans. I'm going Bucks.
What's the spread?
It's 2.5, -2.5 to Texans.
I'm gonna go Texans.
Ooh, I'm not hot on the Texans whatsoever. I'm hot on the Bucks. Baker Mayfield is also my fantasy quarterback, and Mike Evans is on my team as well. So I'm very hot on that team. I think they're a much better team.
I think Stroud has a comeback game, and the Texans win that game. I think I'm gonna go Texans. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and then Monday night, late at night, 10 o'clock p.m., Chargers at Raiders. Interesting, could be really interesting. We saw Justin Herbert look freaking fantastic in Brazil against the Chiefs. Raiders look pretty solid as well. I am going to go, and it's also -3.5 Chargers. I am going to go Chargers, but I'm going to go field goal game.
This is one where my mind's kind of swirling a little bit because they both look good in week one. The Raiders are such a classic choke team. You know what? I think the Raiders, especially if they want to establish themselves this year as maybe a decent team who could be, fringe playoff or just a decent team, I'm going to go Raiders. Everything we saw, I should be saying Chargers. They beat the Chiefs, but I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the dog. I'm going to take the Raiders here.
Got you. All right, that's going to wrap it up. We've been rolling for a while, for a minute. We had a lot to talk about, and that's the beauty about football. I didn't have a chance to talk about anything baseball with the Blue Jays. Jays will be playing, I'm filming this on the Tuesday. They're playing the Astros tonight. This will be out on Thursday, most likely. But lots to talk about with the football. Thanks, Owen, again, for coming on. Cousin Owen, everybody. Always a pleasure to have on. Shout out Lianne for hopping on. I know she's a very, very busy person, so she had to hop on for a little bit, talk about her Vikes. And we'll be very excited to see what we end up doing for you if and when the Blue Jays win the World Series this year.
Pleasure to be on, Jacqueline. And listen, if, like you said, if the Jays can get it done, I'm a man of my word. Either you can shave my head or a tattoo. So TBD. And listen, I actually hope it happens. I hope either I shave my head or I get a tattoo because that means another Toronto team wins it all. And obviously in our lifetime, I've never seen the Jays win. We were both born after Joe Carter. So if you can shave my head bald, I'll be happy to do it. So
awesome, man. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching and or listening on Spotify. Make sure to follow the show, subscribe, give this episode a like, give the show 5 stars, send it to a friend. Lots of fun stuff coming up this year. Going to be better than ever. So much to talk about. Remember, we're in September. Soon, we're going to have basketball and hockey back next month. We got football, we got baseball, we got basketball, we got hockey, a little bit of tennis. So much going on. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Peace.